Hey,
What's,
hey, Martin.
what's up, man?
Awesome. Hey, just a couple of quick things. I think FJ left, but one comment I wanted to make is if he looks at any squeeze since GME, they've all flamed out after a week maximum. They all might go up 8x, 6x, whatever. They eventually all end up being at least 50 to 70% down. Uh, the second comment regarding your quantum. So currently I'm holding some puts on RGTI. Do you think it would be a better strategy to move that to short rather than continuing to hold out some puts a few weeks out after the earnings?
Yeah,
So I'm holding.
everybody asks this question like every day, and I just feel like, there's no real difference that I can add that's like intellectual. Like, what a put is, what shorting stock
Yeah.
is. Like they're fundamentally different, and they're fundamentally kind of both bearish bets. And you just have to decide, what the feature of the put is that attracts you and what the feature of the short is that attracts you. They both have trade-offs. To me, I guess like one philosophy is if you can avoid options altogether, you should.
Okay.
There's people that trade options because they're sharks. So like volatility traders who are like they basically built a machine to milk money out of volatility. That's 99% of us. That's not us. These are really
Yeah.
professional, sophisticated guys. They trade options for a living. Then there's us. And us is people that are mostly not even hedging. They're taking the option to make a directional bet. And that directional bet is inherently levered with that option, unless you're doing a spread or something like that. And again, I assume 90% of us are not doing that. So you're buying a call because you want to make a ton of money. You're buying a put because you want to make a ton of money. Cool. But the problem is, again, we're getting back to greed here because if you buy 5% of your stake in some option, there's a decent chance the option goes out worthless. And so what I like to do is if I do find myself interested in trading an option, I go like a month later than I thought than I'd like normally want, and I go like 10, 20, maybe even 30 or 40% more in the money than maybe I wanted to because options are so levered that if you're right, you'll make a fortune. But if you're greedy, you could be 1 month off or 10% off and you lose everything. And I feel like, trading options is kind of like, like almost like getting high or like taking steroids. Like it's just like really like there's no need to do this. Like there's no point in like if I like the stock Sarepta and I've been buying it for a while now, and I think it's about to like double or something. And I'm like, oh man, if I buy the 20 calls or the 25 calls and it doubles, I'm gonna make a zillion percent. Cool, true. But I don't know that it's gonna double next month or the month after, or quite frankly, at all. It may not, it may go down. And to be the guy that lost a bunch of money, like Steve said, let's say if it did 5%, now I have $95 or cents on the dollar. Now I have to compound all over again. Why never lose money is the first thing. And I just threw 5% of my money away on a whim. And I know everyone here has done it. Every single one of you might be doing it right now on some call options because I'm hoping to get that 100x or that 10x. And now I'm down to 95 cents on the dollar. Now I gotta, like Sisyphus, I have to roll the boulder up the hill again. Then I get back to 100 cents by doing something smart. Then I throw it away again on doing something stupid. And I think just stop doing the stupid thing. Just stop. If you're going to buy a call, like Sarepta's 23 right now, okay, buy the 15 calls, buy the 12 calls. Why do you need to buy the 20 calls? The stock's 15% away from that. I mean, if the stock drops to 20, the calls are worthless. You lose 99%. If the stock drops, even if the stock stays flat, you're going to lose money because of the implied vol. So what the hell are you doing? You're basically saying, I know the stock's going to be up by next month. Well, you don't. Nobody knows that. And I think like the market serves you up what you ask for. You want a whole boatload of risk? Okay, here we go. Just don't order a whole boatload of risk and then say you thought you were ordering, it's like you're ordering a big chocolate cake and you get, a chicken sandwich. You want the risk. The market will give you the risk. It's just a question of like you thinking that you're making a sane bet when you're really kind of making an insane bet. And if you do this 20 times, generally speaking, when you're buying options, like you're going to lose most of the time. So there's no arbitrage. So I feel like, I just try to
Yeah,
avoid it.
options are impossible. You have to get the direction of the move, you have to get the magnitude of the move, and you have to get the duration right. Like getting any one of those three right is already something special, and then to get all three,
Bingo.
and then to get it on the right probabilities. And I think that's where people, like the guy who came on earlier, like they're just misguided. It's like if somebody went into the casino and turned 1,000 into 100,000, you wouldn't call that person a smart man because clearly they're paying a game where the odds are rigged and not in their favor. Like ultimately, all investing is, good investing is making positive EV bets. And the problem is like sometimes in the short term, the negative EV bets don't play out, right? And the the negative EV bets do play out, and the positive EVs don't. Right? So you could be making a sound investment where something's a 60% probability of happening, and you put a ton of money on it, and it loses.
Right.
You're right. Like, so you could look like an idiot in the short term, even though you were right. So, but if you make enough positive EV bets over the long term, you're obviously going to do really well. But I think that's where a lot of these guys, like in the short term, they think that they're really smart. But these are also same guys who said, I think Apple's going to go up because the iPhone 17 is coming out.
Yeah.
I would caveat though, there is a case for the leaps, I would say, like the longer duration options. Like I think it is reasonable to have, like say a 12 to 24 month view. And if something is really out of favor and the vols are cheap and you can really like express that view in a way that's sized right, I've seen a lot of success with like those longer duration. I think the shorter duration are total gambling for the most part. And so I agree on that, but I would caveat that for some people, I think the leaps are interesting to look at depending on what your view is.
I think a lot of professional funds, like the long short guys, they try to avoid options. But in the case of leaps, I do think they're like a capital efficient version of putting your trade on, and I think that can work.
Exactly. Going back to like you could be 30% exposed, right? But if your 30% is like sourcing a lot of leverage, then notionally it could be the same.
Yeah, so I like that idea, especially if the implied vol isn't jacked. Like I like sleepy, like I want the convexity. I want to buy low vol that turns into high vol in my favor. And so like I would never buy like call options on Palantir because and again, I'm assuming, I could be wrong here, that the vol is jacked. I'm not going to buy put options in Quantum for the same reason, because the market knows it's trash and the puts are jacked for that reason. But like if you find a stock that's like about to go from boring to exciting, like that's when you can do a leap and you're going to get this massive, win. So again, the easier thing to do instead of like dodging landmines is just don't do it at all. And I think that's kind of what Buffett said.
Yeah, instead of learning how to dodge landmines, just don't walk into land.
Yeah, exactly. And so, it may tempt a professional to occasionally do it. And like my old Tiger boss, Steve, he I mean, in the $2-3 billion portfolio, I don't think we ever, maybe once or twice, had options. And I think like Buffett has always said, like just knowing the direction. I love that Steve said that. I don't think he said the word special, but like direction is like hard enough. Like you can master direction. Who cares about timing? Like I mean, everyone asks, Martin, I know you have confidence in the quantum short, but I think your timing is off. And I'm just sitting there like with my hand on my chin, like, oh yeah, you think the timing's off? When's the timing gonna work then? Because you tell me. If you can figure out the timing and the direction, I mean, there's only one man who can do that. And that's the man upstairs. I don't think it's gonna be you and me. Writers.
The other thing too that Martin highlighted with calling and implied vol is like if you know your house is going to burn down or there's going to be a hurricane, insurance can be really cheap. But if you go try to buy insurance while there's a hurricane going on, it'd be jacked through the roof.
Yeah, that's a great analogy for volatility.
You really have to get it before it's a thing. If everybody knows, man, this thing is insanely volatile, it's going to be priced appropriately. There's not going to be an arbitrage opportunity here.
Yeah, totally. Writers.